Hey everybody, Mo here, and in this episode of Deck Guides for Dummies, I'm going to be bringing you guys the Bandle Pirates deck, or it's called Pokey City, something like that is what they called it on Worlds. This is a newer deck where it's just been TF and Gangplank, and you play a bunch of these little pings. I believe it was Broken Ball and Panda kind of showed this off originally a couple weeks ago. And yeah, the deck's been doing really good. At first glance, I thought this deck was horrible, but after playing it quite a bit, I think this deck's actually really good. My build's a little bit different than most because I end up playing, like, I'm on 2 Harpoons, some Dreadways, have a bit more of the top end, a little bit more 2-ofs and 1-ofs than I see a lot of people play. I'm not on Tenor of Terror. I think that card is extremely clunky and slow. I think that you already have a bunch of really good 4-drops. Like, you already have Lecturing Yordle, you already have Twisted Fate in your 4-drop slot. So Tenor of Terror just seems to be kind of overkill. If you are against a swarmy deck that you might say, oh, but you need it for the chump blockers, well, most of those decks you kind of just kill off with things like Make It Rain, Pokey Stick, stuff like that. And you can probably play Mirai Wardens in the 2-drop spot if you're worried about swarm decks, but those decks don't really exist right now. And in my 2-drop spot, instead of Mirai Warden, I'm playing Concologist. I've played Concologist. I've also played the 2-mana Nab guy here in this 2-mana spot. I'm not really a fan of Mirai Wardens. I don't think it's that good. I think Mirai Wardens is actually just like a worse Petty Officer, because at least Petty Officer can also randomly give you a keg for things like Make It Rain and Parlay, and can give you keg synergy. So I think I'm more willing to play Petty Officer instead of Mirai Wardens here, especially since this deck is really lacking in the 3-drop slot. Like, you literally have 0 3-drops in this deck. So if you wanted to fill the curve out more for on turn 3, you can play Petty Officer. But a lot of times I wouldn't mind spending my turn 3 to go ahead and just save mana, or maybe play like a really cheap card on there on turn 3 and then save 1 or 2 spell mana, so that way when you play Lecturing Yordle, you can get the dart. But yeah, I'm going to just show you guys some games with the deck. The idea is just to take control of the board, ping them a little bit over and over again. It's kind of just like an extremely slow burn deck that eventually wins most of the time with like Gangplank, Trigger, or a double up, or something of that nature. But before we get into the games, I wanted to remind you guys that 60% of the people that watch my videos aren't actually subscribed to me. So if you guys can do me a huge favor and click the subscribe button, click that bell, helps me out so much with the YouTube algorithm, and then let me know in the comments below what deck guide you guys want to see next. I've done Darkness, I've done Zoe Nami, I've done Driven Scion. So if you guys have any questions on what deck you want to see next, go ahead and let me know below. That's it for the intro. Let's get into the games. Hey everyone, Mo here, and before the video begins, I just want to let you guys know that my schedule is opened up for me to do coaching again. So if you're interested in private one-on-one coaching for me to help you, whether you're a newer player and you want to excel at the game very quickly and learn the fundamentals without developing any bad habits early, or if you're an experienced player who's already maybe platinum or diamond in your top 1%, but you need some help filling in the gap to get you to that 0.01%, to make you just some of the best, then hit me up on Discord and I can get you in some private one-on-one coaching lessons to help you polish up any skills you want to refine and help you learn all of the secrets to becoming a top player. That's it. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's see here. Alright, so Burn. Alright, so our first game here is against Burn. This matchup is typically in our favor because we match them in tempo, except we kind of just get to go taller than them. So we get to match their early game, and then all that happens is in the late game, we end up playing big things like Gangplank and Dreadway and stuff like that, so it's easier for us to deal with them. The biggest goal in this matchup specifically, and against most burn-oriented matchups, is just to save your HP early, because you can always fight for board, and you can almost always win the board, assuming they don't just go like Mayor into Telescope, or some dumb shit like that. You can fight for the board a lot easier than you can fight your HP, because you don't have any healing in this deck. So once you lose, once you take damage, that's your HP forever. So if you take damage and go to 10, it doesn't matter if you stabilize on board. All they have to do now is just go decimate, fervor, and you can't play around that, right? Like, you can't stop decimates from coming in and hitting you. So we'll do Stone Stackers. This is a very common trade that you do where each person just gets 1 damage on their Stony Boys. Not really too much counterplay to that. We're just going to say, okay, we have Dreadway. If we needed to, we can go Dreadway into like Parlay or something. But that's very risky because unless they develop a 1-drop here, they're probably not going to let you parlay with the keg. They're just going to like pull the keg in for free. So like right here, we can just say, okay, and then we can just take the trade with Stony Stackers onto the Stony Stackers here. Another thing we can do is just block the Ziggs to negate all of that damage. I kind of like that, because then we get to go Dreadway, Parlay either one of these. And being able to deal with both of these is easy because we can just play a 2-drop and block this. And this is what I'm talking about. Being able to fight for board here is pretty awkward. We could also end up going just like Dreadway into TF red card. Is pretty good. It just like board wipes them. But this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying you need to fight for damage. So opponent just straight up passes there. That's very interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that pass, but it probably means they have a Poppy and they're just trying to like keep their board wide so Poppy can get a lot of value. So we're just going to do one of these. If they do play Poppy, we have Dreadway until we can parlay for 3 onto the Poppy. But we're going to see here, if they do have Poppy, they probably just open pass. And we can just, I'll swing in for 2 here every time, or sorry, for 4 every time and try and push my damage. And that'll really tell us if they have Poppy, if they're setting up for Poppy or something. So there's the Poppy. So we can just go Dreadway, deckhand, we can parlay for 3 onto the Poppy. And we can push for quite a bit of damage here. Because that's going to be 3 damage to the face, and then we're going to do 6 off of just units, so. So now we just swing for 6 here. They block probably just Zigzag, I guess, because they want to make the trade with Stone Stackers, but they also want to at least get their 1 damage in if they're going to trade with Stone Stackers. And let's see what our opponent does. If it is a second Poppy, we probably just TF red card. I mean, sorry, TF gold card. So we can crack shot here and see what our opponent does. Let's see if it's another Poppy. Because we really don't want them to stack everything. Yeah, so we can just Poppy here. Probably just a gold card. Red card isn't too good. Because red card really only kills the Saboteur. And then everything gets too big for us to kill. Like, we can't block and kill either of these now. Whereas now, if they go in for an attack, we can just full trade the board away. And that's, you know, perfectly fine with me. All of this works for me. We're just going to trade the crack shot into the 2-1, trade our 2-2 into his Stone Stackers. We're going to take 2 damage overall, but still be in a pretty okay spot. Our opponent can't really deal with our open attack, but we can probably push more from a non-open, so we can do this. Our Gangplank's only 2 out of 5, but that's okay. In some matchups, you don't prioritize Gangplank leveling as much as you prioritize your health, and that's what we're doing in this game. We're prioritizing our HP. So Concologist here, let's see if we can get something good off of it. Double Trouble is good, Purple Shake is good. We can... Tricky Testicles, that's pretty cool. We can make them discard something like a Pokey Stick or a what is it called? The Fervor or something like that. Be pretty neat. I mean, Double Trouble could just be pretty neat overall because it gives us a bunch of blockers. I like that. Maybe the play was the Purple Berry Shake, but we're going to go ahead and just make them discard their lowest costing card. See if it is going to be like a Fervor or a Burn Spell or something like that. So it was a Concologist, so that's good, because Concologist removes a bunch of RNG from the game. Our units are still 2-2, so I'm going to send a full attack here. I'm going to nowadays here, see if we draw a new 1-drop. Oh, we do. Cool. So now I'm just going to continue to full swing. They have exactly 1 good block here with the Stone Stackers. And then if they decide to either block nothing else, they're going to take 8 damage and go to 3, which is not very smart. And then if they do block anything else, then that's good because we can't really trade into Poppy very well here. So, cool. This looks good to me. The more things we can kill here, the better. I'm surprised he's not killing TF. I have absolutely 0 cards in my hand, but maybe it's because he doesn't want us to play second TF for like red card or something like that. That could make a bunch of sense. So second Ziggs, sounds good. So now we're in a spot where, again, we can't really trade up. We can kill Poppy here, and that's about it. Opponent is at 5. We don't really have ways to level our Gangplank quickly here. So it's pretty unfortunate. Let's see here. We can do this block, and we can do this block. Because, again, we are kind of just wanting to conserve our HP a bit. Really not too much we can do. We can do this, go to 13, and then kind of just play, like, Gangplank, Stone Stackers. So let's start with Stone Stackers and see what happens. I want to play Gangplank in case I draw a second Gangplank. I want to be able to like parlay the Stone Stackers first action. Okay, so here's Mayor. So our opponent was at 2 cards in hand. Now they're going to go to like 5 cards in hand and have a full board. So that'll be very, very fun to deal with. Let's see here. So we really need to level this Gangplank at this point, or we need to draw a way to kind of stabilize. Either one would be good. Hoping for you know, pretty good draws here off the top. We've done our best. Obviously, double Poppy, double Ziggs is really hard to deal with. We tried our best. We dealt with a Poppy, we dealt with a Ziggs. There's a Loof. That's a good thing we played our Gangplank here. We drew second Gangplank for the parlay like I planned around, but, you know, getting a random aloof in your deck from a Mayor is, you know, there's only so much we can do to play around that. We do get to attack with Gangplank, which is nice. I guess we have to attack immediately. Well, we are not going to get our... Dang. I was hoping to get like a good 3 damage Crackshot Corsair, because that would have been extremely nice, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that, because he's probably just going to Poison Dart the Powdered Keg. Dang. Unfortunate. Can't really play around aloof in a deck that's not supposed to have aloof. Can't really play around anything that gets manifested. Extremely difficult. The state of the meta we're in right now is just to try to play around 3% of a manifest card and hope you get it right, or don't play around anything and then just get hard punished. So very frustrating, but our Gangplank is going to level here at the start of the turn, which is really nice. Because I'll put our Gangplank at 3 HP, which means it can block the Mayor for free. And then all we need is to not die next turn. If we don't die next turn and attack with our Gangplank, we're really happy. Obviously, Dreadway would be an insane draw, because then we can sacrifice our Gangplank and then make sure we have a third Gangplank. Or, you know, third Gangplank would be an insane draw. Any of those. Outside of that, Make It Rain doesn't really do too much. I mean, it'd be better than nothing. But, yeah, there's not really too much we could do here. He probably just opens. The last card in his hand's probably a Decimate, so we'll just do some of that, some of that, some of that. We just have to negate as much damage here as possible. That puts us to 3. So we actually can't ever beat Decimate, because this just puts us to 4. So might as well just play to win. If they have Decimate, they have Decimate. Going into 3 obviously also makes me die to Fervor, but again, if they have it, they have it. We have to play to win. If we lose our Gangplank here, then we lose the game 100% of the time. But I'm pretty sure this far right card in his hand is just a Decimate, because he hasn't played it this entire game. Yep. GG. And I'm gonna keep the game in there. I'm not just gonna show you games I win, because, you know, this is a pretty good game, and show you like how to play into these aggro decks. Like, even though you lose, it's still a really good learning experience. You have to try and fight for board. If you don't fight for board and you just try and be greedy with your life total, you're just gonna get burned out. Unfortunately, our opponent created an aloof and discarded our Gangplank. Unfortunately, our opponent drew 4 champions, and then 2 units. Like, the only 2 drops that we can't deal with are the units with tough. If the units didn't have tough, we'd be able to block those, and we wouldn't have taken, you know, like 4 to 6 damage from those. You know, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes your opponent just, you know, draws better than you and you lose, but I think we played really well. We tried to control the board as best we can. We dealt the first Poppy, dealt with the second Poppy, dealt with the first Ziggs, and sometimes you just lose. But that's how you play against aggro. Yeah, it was a really good game to show you how to play against aggro. So let's get another game in here. Let's see here. Oh, cool. This is Caitlyn Draven. So yeah, so Caitlyn Draven is a pretty good matchup for you, because like most of your damage is going to be burn damage. We're going to go ahead and get rid of these. Most of your damage is going to be burn damage, and Draven Caitlyn can't really stop that, and because they don't have any healing, as soon as you deal the burn damage, you kind of just kill them. So hands like these are pretty decent. You just want to get 1 to 2 good attacks, and this is exactly what I said with my the Poppy Ziggs burn deck that I put a video out on 2 days ago. It's the same concept. You just want a couple really good attacks in, and then after that, your plan is just going to be to go burn. With things like, you know, Lecturing Yordle Poison Darts, double ups, you know, even TF red card, stuff like that. So here we go. We're going to try and get our couple good attacks in here, get our 2 damage. We're just going to try and get them to probably about 10 HP, and then just hope that Shrooms and stuff get the rest of them. So you want to count all your burn in the hand at all times. So this is 2 damage. So he's already at 16. Harpoon is great. It helps us deal with big units. So next time we're just going to slam the Lecturing Yordle and be able to go in with that. Sounds good. You can get Caitlyn traps as long as we don't just immediately start drawing them and kills all of our stuff. Sounds good. We don't need a block because we're going to keep this to apply pressure. That's going to be way more effective than saving 3 HP. So there's Stone Stackers, and, you know, sometimes you just immediately draw traps. It is what it is. This would be a good time for our opponent to Thermogen. Let's see here. Not Thermogen, but it's going to be a Slay the Aurora the Slayer. Very interesting. Okay, he discarded a... So he's playing Fallen Riders. And his Caitlyn Draven deck can slay the whatever. Interesting. Okay. No worries. We can just Monster Harpoon the Caitlyn on the open because this is going to activate our Plunder for us at the start of the turn. So, yep. We can just Harpoon Caitlyn. Try and alleviate some pressure. And then we can play like Stone Stackers, Crackshot Corsair, start to go ahead and deal with some of that. So, Stone Stackers. Start to apply some pressure back. The Sump Dredger. Okay, sounds good. So they are trying to contest the board a little bit. We're probably attacking with just Stone Stackers here. And then probably like a TF red card. Mystic Shot. That's fine. We're already going to get our Plunder trigger because of our 2-2 is going to do impact here. Unless he get excited to like mid-combat. But if he does that, then there's not really much we can do, huh? So we're going to do this. See if he blocks with the 4-3. If he does get excited mid-combat, I mean, I don't know. It's just pretty unfortunate that he had all of this pressure and get excited. We get to go Dreadway into TF red card, which will be really, really good. I wonder if he's considering just taking it because he doesn't want his units to all die to like Make It Rain or something. Or he just has to get excited mid-combat. Okay, sounds good. So we can do that. We can play Dreadway here and then just hope for no second Mystic Shot type ability. Let's go for a red card here. We hope for no fourth removal spell to deal with the keg. If they have it, then we can always just double up the Sump Dredger. So, okay. Second, get excited. So, he had used the Mystic to get excited. A random slay the Roar. All this should be okay. I mean, we have double up. He's discarding Flock. He's down to 2 cards in hand. Unfortunately, one of them is a very balanced Twin Blade Revenant. So, it looks like he's down cards, but realistically, this is just infinite value. Sounds good. We can just go... We'll trade the board here, get to double up the 4-1. He can, like, Flock the 4-1 to negate the double up damage, but if he does that, then we're still not taking 4, and he used a Flock in his hand. Our Gangplank's all the way leveled, so all we have to do now is actually draw the Gangplank, which, I mean, we have Dreadways, so there's always that. I kind of like Entrapment here, because it can help us stop him from drawing the really important cards, or if he does draw the really important cards, it's just kind of like a deal 3 damage to you, and that's really important. See, he's already at 10, so kind of just getting him to lower HP will help us win. So we are going to look for probably spells at this point. Maybe not. Let's see. What would be more important for us? What would stop him from being able to kill us? It'd probably have to be something like... Okay, there's one. Probably units to try and win the game, right? So let's do units here and see what we pick. It's probably units to try and develop board. Farron would be a pretty good one. Yeah, because Farron would end the game, so we're going to pick Farron. That way, if he ever does draw the... Farron, we still have a chance to, like, win the game here. So, second Mystic Shot, sounds good. We're going to pass. We don't have to swing, because swinging just kind of lets him keep his 4-3. We can always block this if he attacks. We can Dreadway. Oh, I got really scared. I thought that was actually going to be the card. Okay, so we can do this. We can Dreadway now. Force him to have... Thermo or something like that. Let's see what happens. We can draw our Gangplank. Gangplank can represent lethal, which is really, really good. Let's see here. Tri-Beam for 7, so the whole time he had a Tri-Beam in his hand. All good. Whoa, big overwhelm unit. That's not good. That does, in fact, give him a way to end the game. Sump Dredger. Okay, cool. So the only way he can really kill Gangplank here is like with the top decked Tri-Beam. Or, sorry, Thermo. Oh, and we drew second Gangplank anyway, so even if he does have a way to kill Gangplank, that's really big, actually. That's a really good draw, so we should be able to burn him out here. Let's see. So yeah, so even though we put all of our puff caps from Entrapment onto, like, a 1-of unit, I would rather do it that way. Let's see. Did he draw the Thermo? Oh, he's going to Tri-Beam the Powdered Keg for 1. Okay. Sounds good. Oh my god. Okay. Let's Lecturing Yordle. Yeah, you can prank the Poison Dart. I don't care, man. Sounds good. Sounds good. He's making Pokestick cost more? Sure. So we are going to full swing here. He's going to block with probably the 7-4 onto Gangplank. Yep. Sounds good. We're going to kill his everything. Sounds good. And at this point, we're not even going to send poison darts to the onto the 4-2. We're literally just going to burn his face out. So we're just going to go poison dart face, poison dart face. And we're just going to hope he draws some amount of mushrooms, or we draw like a pokey stick or something like that to kill him. Because we can go Gangplank, get a keg, pokey stick. So here we go. He ended up just hard playing the Lost Soul, which creates a Revenant, so no big deal. Even though he doesn't discard it, he still goes infinite for some reason. But no salt here. So let's see here. So he drew that. I swear to God, if he top decked a Flock or a Scorched Earth, I'm going to cry. Okay, goodbye Gangplank. That's fine. Let's go and draw cards first and see what we get. Pathways. Alright, we're just going to Gangplank Make It Rain and hope Make It Rain hits face, and the game is over at that point. Revenant, sure. Alright. Cool, it went face. So this has to be third Mystic Shot in order for him to not die. And it wasn't third Mystic Shot. So, again, that just shows you this matchup is extremely easy. Even though we didn't have a really, really good opener, we got, like, 2 good attacks in, and then we were able to just kind of stifle the removal. Even with them having opening with the, like, get excited Mystic on all of our units to stop the early game damage, we were able to eventually just draw enough burn to get us there. And that's one of the reasons why I like Concologist in this list over something like Mirai Warden, is because Concologist can randomly find you burn spells. Like, it can find you things like Make It Rain, Pokey Stick, Parlays. It found us the Entrapment, which didn't do any damage in that specific game, but it could have, you know, because, like, what were the only ways we lose that game there? And it's from him top decking this Bomb Farron, right? So we made sure that if he did top deck this Bomb Farron, where he gets excited, he's like, oh my god, I top decked Farron, I actually get to win the game now, that he gets punished and he takes 3 damage, and it would have ended up killing him at the end there. So, yeah, so that's how you play against the control matchup. So it looks like we're getting all the types of matchups in here. So I'll try and get one more game in here for you guys. Alright, Jinx Drape. Wow, discard aggro. Okay, I actually have not played against discard aggro this meta. So, be very interesting. I'm assuming it's going to go the same way as, I mean, just other aggro burn decks, where we're just going to take control of the game. Fortunately for us, this isn't like a burn style deck. At least I don't think it's a burn style deck. So we don't have to worry too much about getting burned out over the top. We just have to make sure we can actually deal with Jinx. Let's see here. So Jury Rig, sure. We can swing in here. If they want to trade with 2-1s, we'll trade 2-2 for 2-1. This will stop their crowd favorite if they are playing crowd favorite. But we should have an easy time to deal with the Dravens and the Jinxes because we have more direct damage. We have things like Harpoon in our deck. So we should be able to go like, you know, Keg, Pokey Stick, and stuff like that. Wow, that's a bunch of stony stackers. Sure. We'll do stone stackers here. We'll trade with a 3-2. No big deal. We just want to keep our HP up. So whenever we draw our, you know, big units, we are chilling. Like our Gangplanks and stuff like that. So pretty good stuff here. We get stone stackers. We can get Crackshot Corsair. That's a Draven. We don't care. We'll swing into the Draven because if he has the, if he blocks with Draven, then we can just Pokey Stick next turn. So not too worried. So they're going for the Draven level up. Very interesting. So it tells me that they might be playing survival skills. If they are playing survival skills, we could be in some trouble. For sure. We could for sure be in some trouble here. But not in too much trouble. Because we just drew Lecturing Yordle. Which means we'll be able to kill this Draven eventually. So we can just do some of this. We can take 3 damage. Don't really care too much. If they want to axe on to the 1-1 here, that's fine. Because that means that they're not... Oh, okay, cool. So he's doing this. So he is going for the Draven level up. That's okay. Because like I said, we can eventually just kill him with like Lecturing Yordle. We're just going to go like Deckhand. We're going to go Deckhand Pass. Play the Lecturing Yordle. And then just be able to... either Pokey Stick at fast speed or the Poison Dart at fast speed. So taking the damage from Draven is not that big of a deal. So cool. So we have our late game plan in the Dreadway. So that's really, really nice. So let's see what our opponent does here. And this could be a really good way to bait out the survival skills. If he does have it, he can go ahead and survival skills this. We just say, sounds good, go to our next turn and Pokey Stick it. Cool. So he doesn't have survival skills. He lets Draven die. They could play another Jinx or Draven or something of that nature. Cool. Sounds good to me, man. We'll go ahead and swing like this. We probably swing with both of these because, again, you know, we can always just get the poison dart. If he blocks the 2/2, we just poison dart the Draven. The worst case scenario would be if he blocks here and then does, like, Draven's Whirling Death onto the 5/3. So he's just going to get excited. Okay, so he's just trying to take control of the board. I mean, sounds good to me. I'll take this trade because I'm just going to poison dart the Draven. And it's a get excited not going to our face. So let's see what they're doing. Cool, so that's 2 Dravens down. So all we have to deal with now is a Jinx. Obviously, he only has 2 cards in his hand, but Experimenter makes that null and void because with Experimenter, they just refill their hand anyways. So we're just going to pass here. If he wants to Experimenter a 1/1, I'll be happy with that. We'll let him Experimenter a 1/1. Let's see here. So it's a Rummage. He has a 3/2. We'll just block Crack Shot. If he tries to burst pass, that's fine. Oh, okay, so I guess we're not going to block with Crack Shot. Oh, okay, here we go. Sounds good, man. So what we are going to do is this. I think. Yeah, we're going to do this so we can draw on the stack, because maybe we draw, like, something good. Okay, so we didn't activate that yet. We were just going to TF red card. So that was the plan here, is go boom, TF red card. Get rid of the challenger unit. Now we can block and kill the augmented. This feels pretty good, man. We're going to take our 4 damage here, but it should be fine. The board is controlled. I'll take 1 extra damage to kill this off, because we know that this deck doesn't play too much burn outside of, like, exactly Jinx, and we found our answer to Jinx and Monster Harpoon. So we get Stone Stackers here. We can trigger our Monster Harpoon. Boom, baboon. Sounds good. If you want to trade, I'll trade. Let's see. What you got for me, Mr. Opponent? It's not a Jinx, so that's cool. I kind of like that. So we are just going to go ahead and kill this. We can always just, like, do, like, Dreadway into double up later or something like that. So that's pretty fine. That's pretty fine. Again, we have double up here, so we're not too worried. Gangplank is a great draw. Gangplank allows us, actually, we can play Gangplank and double up, which is really, really nice. So even if they... So worst case scenario here is they draw Jinx, because double up won't actually kill the Jinx here, because Jinx will have 4 HP because she's leveled. That's going to pull Gangplank. He's just going to full send. We're going to go ahead and kill the 4/3. They don't typically play Mystic Shot, so I'm not worried about them, like, removing my keg here. So that's why I'm able to go for the 4/3. And the game should just be over. We're at 3-6. We're taking 7 here, so we go to 5. So we're going to be able to just slam a Dreadway, and the game will be done. This would have to be Jinx for him to have a chance at living. Or not, a chance at winning the game, even. So, another thing that could happen is he could top deck second Experimenter, and, like, Experimenter, Gangplank, draw into get excited our Gangplank. That would be pretty rough, but I think he would still die if we play Dreadway. Let's see, it'll deal 2, 4, it'll deal 4 damage to everything, so I guess he doesn't die, he only goes to 6. But yeah, that's definitely a line of play that makes us not live here. Or it makes us, yeah, not just not live, but probably lose the game. But it has to be exactly that. Because there's no Whirling Death, so he has no actual way to remove this Gangplank outside of exactly Experimenter and to get excited. I'm assuming he doesn't have it. He looked like he just kind of quit. So, cool. So let's go ahead and play. That's pretty funny. So Dreadway here. Drew Gangplank. Oh yeah, I forgot we also get a parlay here, which is pretty cool. So let's see if the game is over. And game is over. Cool. So there you go. Got to show you 2 aggro games and a control game. Even though we lost one of the aggro games, this was a way to show you how to win one of the aggro games. It was, again, you kind of just like play to the board. When you're against non-burn specific decks, you can take a little bit more damage. Like, you know, here we knew our opponent's not playing like Decimates and Fervors and stuff like that. So because of that, we were able to take, you know, like 1 extra damage here and there, and we weren't too worried whenever they did start to swarm the board, compared to those decks that do have a bunch of burn, so your HP is extremely, extremely important. So I hope you guys enjoyed the games. I hope you guys, let me know how you guys feel about leaving losses in there. I think losses are just as important as wins as far as like learning experiences go, so I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, let me know in the comments what deck you guys want to see next on Deck Guide for Dummies, all that jazz, any type of gameplay video, knowledge video, stuff like that. just let me know in the comments below. Join my Discord. Discord's going to be in the description of the video. Go follow me on Twitch because I stream on there almost every single day. That's it. I hope you guys enjoy the video.